Hello, my name is Kriostix, and welcome back to Resident Evil 4. The OG and the cows agree. Murmur indeed. Yes. Okay, we have all blue medallions in this spot. I think I have all of the items that are in the immediate vicinity. I may have forgotten something, but so it goes. Uh, the The dog is no longer here, which is interesting, even though I loaded the game, but okay. Oh! They did one more egg! Lovely. It's a bummer that the chickens don't actually lay ammo, because I'd really, really enjoy that right about now. Interesting that the game load thing also reset the shelf, because I have absolutely moved to that. Oh. Because I super do have the tankard, or the beer stain, yeah. No. Okie dokie. Let's move and find out what the world is like. Oh, this might have been the spot with the thingamathing. I've seen this signpost before. If you say so. Sir, your chicken is laying a NATO 9x 19mm parabellum. I think it may be ill and may I bite. Yeah. Like, forget golden eggs. Just give me a chicken that just gives bullets. That is where the victory lies. Buttons. This game has quick time events, if you didn't know. Now we know. That is an instant kill. And that dodge needs to, yeah, like, you need to be on point there. It doesn't give you a lot of time window with that. Alrighty. I have to admit, though, in the HD version, the shinies are a bit easier to see. Like, I feel like in the standard definition mushy PS2 TV, you know? They didn't quite show up as that bright, but I could be mistaken, I suppose. Also, speaking of, I wonder if, actually, I don't know if the brightness adjustment means much to... But I wonder if... I guess the game's lighting isn't really made for a lot of interesting brightness stuff, though. I don't know if it got, like, much darker for you. But I think it does look a little bit more moody this way. Maybe. Not much, but, no. Oof, good roll, Leon Kennedy. Yes. Leon S. Kennedy. I always... A shade. Yeah, I'll tiny little bit, yeah. I think it looks, like, not much moodier, but a little tiny bit. It's a little bright in the default setting. Okay. Man, that weapon sway is big. Come on. Got the spinel. Also, I forget. Do the bats like drop stuff? I have no idea. No. That be not great then. Well, but I did catch them with the knife. Haha. I actually don't remember if they can do damage. Come on. This is like a grade A hunter stuff. This is like apex predator, just absolutely. Oh Jesus! Come on. I hope they're not endless. Ah, Jesus. Team player, come on. Leon. Leon Susan Kennedy. Let's go. Come on. Finally? Doesn't give me anything, but... Alright. Cool. We have now killed the bats. We have done what the Joker couldn't. We have killed bats. Badum-tsh. Oh boy. Okie dokie. The problem here is I'm out of everything else but shotgun bullets. So, that's gonna be a problem, huh? How do I even approach this one? Like, do these people really not have any bullets for me? Like, not even one. Like, one secret handgun bullet box, you know? Like, maybe in a nest or... Oh, hello! I don't think I can get the, like, I think I can kill them, yeah, but not with a shotgun from this distance. Leon Scott Kennedy, if we want to be nitpicky. Close enough. And I swear Leon told me he's Susan. Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess I can't really complain, like, in the sense that, like, imbecile, yes. Like, I can take them down with a shotgun, but that's a really nasty spot to try with a shotgun, because that's the spot where they do a dynamite. And there's a lot of bear traps too. At least the knife doesn't break in this one like the remake. True. Yeah. I really worry about the knife in the remake. Like, I really like the fact that it's just a dedicated button this time around and all that, but man, it's a bold choice to make the knife break in the remake. I know it can be repaired and upgraded and stuff, but it costs money. And worry, worry, worry. Because that there is dynamite in their hands. Not a video game, but I reckon the shotgun wouldn't have a problem to soft target at that range. Oh, I know. Iron Imp, don't get me started on, like, weapon spread stuff, you know? Shotguns in video games are just bunny to just yeah, I know. Shotguns are, like, video game shotguns are ridiculously spready. Like, they can't hit, they literally can't hit a barn door. They gave plenty of weaker knives to make up for it, but it certainly wasn't fun. Since the knife takes extra degradation from backstabs and executions. Yeah, I feel like just basic melee shouldn't be, weapon degradation is always a really, really risky choice, and I don't think I've ever seen a game where weapons breaking and weapon degradation is fun or good. And again, I'm just, like, piling on some notions here. Like, I haven't played it, but in Remake 4, there's one boss missing. Like an actual boss, like, not just like an extra El Gigante or whatever. You can't shoot through doors, like in this one. You have a breakable knife, and the walking is, iffy. But the walking is just me, I suppose. But still, that. Oh, and you can't indeed in the 4 remake, if you have like bullets in your inventory and you need to make room in your inventory, right? You can't just combine the bullets into a gun in the remake either. So if you're out of room and you need to make space, you have to discard the items instead of just like putting bullets into your gun to make room in the in inventory. Like, I'm not saying those things make or break a game, but that's a tall order to give a game a 10 out of 10 with like that setup, you know? Oh boy. Thank you. do. Fall of IRL 2, but that how back you're comfortable standing, yeah. Especially since executions can give you the chance to deal with parasites before the burst out of next, the enemy falls over upon death. Right. Yeah. I do agree, and it never liked it depending on how it's turned to the loop. It's not always the worst, but it's preferred games avoid it. Yeah, like, I can't think of a single game where weapon degradation is good. It's always either really bad or at least a nuisance that's a slight negative. Like, the best... Oh boy, what's the best one? I don't know. Like, the least terror... I remember the Fallout 3 and 4 and such, but even there, I found it annoying. Zero Receiver was a fuss, but the whole game is floating fuss, yeah. Complaining that the review outlets give 10 out of 10 is like complaining that the sky is blue. Sort of. But... You know how, like, how... There's sort of the notion that... I don't know if, like, you have a set of review outlets you follow, right? Yeah, I think the brown egg gives more. Yeah, if you have a set of review outlets you follow, right? You know? That you're sort of used to how they score games. I at least used to have, and I still have a little bit, you know? And in Resident Evil 4 Remake's case, and before that, Elden Ring, as I've mentioned multiple times before, though, like, Elden Ring and Resident Evil 4 Remake maybe, but we'll see. But Elden Ring was the one where I think it broke the integrity of a lot of the ones I follow, where they just stepped over the insanity line and just gave utterly nonsense reviews that don't gel with reality. They're like not connected to the real world anymore. Like, this game is perfection, and then just like close ears and just blah, 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 and just 10. Like, huh? Like, that sort of happened with Elden Ring for the first big time. Like, there's there's always been the problem of this gives a 10 here, 10 here, but like individual like 10s that seem off, you know. But in the case of Elden Ring, and now especially here in Remake 4, the ones I've followed, especially one of them, seems like they just went off the deep end. Like, they give a review number that like isn't tethered to what they usually did, you know? So, like, I realize that it's kind of a weird thing to ask or hope for a game to have, like, a fitting, scale of, like, well, if this is a 9, then this should be an 8, and this should be a 7, and this should be an 8.5. Like, they can't all be exactly on the scale with each other, right? But, like, how do I put this? How do I, like, in a way, so let me try and put it this way, right? I used to follow way back when GameTrailers.com was the thing, right? And those journalists, most of those, the people from there most are still working in the games journal industry, right? And almost all of them are in this thing called Easy Allies, right? And they have had, like, not perfect, but fairly consistent and honestly scrutinizing, while still positive, but still honestly scrutinizing review system that they've always kind of had. That they don't just give 10s out of the blue, like, to things. Like, it's been a hot minute since I've seen, like, all of their reviews, but I've seen a lot of their stuff, right? And first, Elden Ring was like, we'll see, but that wasn't really like a completely unreasonable review as such. It was weird, but you know, so it goes. But Resident Evil 4 Remake got a 10 out of 10 from Easy Allies, and for me, that was like a canary in a coal mine of game reviewing. Like, this seems off. Like, this seems like a 10 that comes out of, like, a mass psychosis of this has to be perfect because it's this game. I'm not saying it's obviously a bad game. I haven't even played it yet. I've just seen it quite a bit. And I've, like, have, like, a list of what's missing and what's kind of probably bad ideas in it and so on, you know? But... And I'm not saying that it should be like a 7 or anything. Maybe it's a 9.5. Maybe it's a 9.0. I don't know. But... Or should be. It's hard to say what it should be. But point being, that outlet doesn't really do 10s. That's like almost the utopia that's almost impossible to reach. You know? Like... And all of a sudden, it felt like Resident Evil 4 Remake is this excellent, but by no means flawless game that got a 10. And it feels like their review sort of system probably feels like that it should have given it maybe a 9 or a 9.5. Especially if it's a remake of Resi 4, again, and it's mostly missing still important things, you know? It's missing one boss, at least. And it's missing all of the Ada stuff. It doesn't have any of the separate ways or anything like that. It may be a DLC later, but point being, if it's not there yet, it is therefore not a, you know, definitive remake of OG Resident Evil 4, which was plus separate ways and so, with the PS2 version, like, it already had all of that stuff, you know? Yes, it would cost money to do that, I get it. But I'm just saying that putting a 10 out of 10 to that from a outlet that doesn't just, like, give them out. Like, I'm not sure if they'd ever given a 10 to anything. Like, that just... There's a... canary... like, it felt like a canary in a coal mine to review integrity. Like, something's wrong. Like, something's not right. Oh boy. There's so much text, I can't keep up. Makes sense. Think it came out there was almost a mass hysteria. Sort of. Yes. But in a way that even FromSoft games didn't quite used to have. Like, FromSoft games have always had a bit of a mass hysteria to them. Dark Souls, not quite so bad. Bloodborne, it was already quite bad, but it still didn't reach the ones I quite trusted, you know? Like, I think Bloodborne got like a 9.5 5 or 6 or something, you know? Right. And so on. And then Elden Ring got like a mass hysteria of this must be perfect, and no one could see the actual lifelessness of that game. It's an open world Dark Souls with so much less life in it and detail, and the bosses are plain bad, and 70 of them are the same boss. And so, you know, I've been through this before, you know? That was like a really, really bad moment in video game reviewing in ways that things hadn't yet been before. And now I'm worried that Resident Evil 4 Remake might have similar symptoms. It's a different case, because I'm obviously not saying it's by no means bad. It's, as far as I can see, the game seems really good. The game seems even awesome, even excellent. But the amount of 10 out of 10s is unprecedented as far as I can see. Like maybe outside of Red Dead Redemption 2. Like that's the one exception that maybe has like 1 10 out of 10 more. Like it's so, I don't know. And I worry that this is another new step of video game review integrity just like out the window. Like it's just like, nope, we're like, game reviews are done. No clues here. Like I can try and accept that that maybe me and who was it again that agreed with me about the walk in the like there was someone on the long ship, like I think I'm so bad with names, like Martin or Malvin or the one with the purple name that starts with an M, the cool person. They agreed with me about the walking when I brought it up, but maybe it's just me and them and no one else has a problem with the walking. I'll try to like maybe that's the case, but it has proper shortcomings, and the breakable knife is really like breaking mechanics that use money. Don't pay attention to reviewers who put a numerical score on a game, period. Too many individual elements, too much context, too much personal preference. Yeah, that is not a bad like idea at all. Like I super respect that idea. I think you're onto something with that for sure. I think the thing that I'm sort of hung up on here is that it's just that's the one thing I can sort of look at as an overall sort of a measurement of what do the reviews I usually follow overall come into as a number, and like does it seem out of place or just weird? Because it's pretty rare to get into a review problem where the reviews are so crazy that the text itself is crazy. Elden Ring got into this problem. Elden Ring had a bunch of reviews that said that Elden Ring transcends the concept of a good or bad video game. Therefore, it defies reviewing as such because it's like beyond even good or bad. It's just it transcends quality. It's beyond quality. It's so like completely perfect, you know, which is utter madness. So Elden Ring had that. Like that's the one case where even the like text of the reviews was like a psychotic break from reality, you know. But beyond that, it's kind of like one can try to look at the numbers and just get a vibe if they seem inflated in relation to other games of similar ish quality or type or such, you know. I mean, I think I've been here before. Like, I've mentioned how, like, I think Rockstar games are inflated like that. And, then indeed, FromSoft games as well. But this one is a weird one. It's just, it has that worry. Like, my mind worries that now we're in an unhealthy step here with the reviews, but, you know. And for me, Elden Ring totally honeymooned on, never got as done as it as you had experienced, but going back, I have more even perspectives, can see the cracks. I'm not familiar with the specific outlet you're talking about, it's simply a fool's errand to quantify subjective experience and find consensus on that metric. Oh, sure. I have a trying to say, but I just don't regard that as a problem per se. Like, if everyone says something is 10, I don't assume I'm going to get on with it, but I take it to be very well received. I'm not too fussed about the numbers themselves. That's my impression. I mean, let me rephrase. I don't mean that to say that numerical review scores don't have problems, just that they're not a problem unless you're looking to the number to inform. See, I have one problem with it that is not just about me and the number to inform me. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing that I worry about. I don't really, truly worry about me being informed by the number. That's not the issue, right? The issue lies in the question. If a game gets basically an average of practically 10, right? Across the board, just 10, good night, Gracie. Boom, right? All, like, from like 100 review outlets, just all 10. Boom, right? But most of those reviews, or some of those reviews, mention, like, that they don't like, thing A or thing B. Like, they don't like how the walking feels. They don't like how the knife degrades, you know? But it's still, everything is a 10, right? Do you think, and I'm actually like asking all of chat, and this is not a that you're wrong or anyone's wrong. I'm actually asking, like, yes or no, you know. Do you think that the developer or the publisher or both or whatever will either see the criticism of the problems that the reviewers had, and, more importantly, will they feel the need to fix those problems for their future projects or games or sequels of that franchise? If the game's average is 100 of 100, do they feel the need to fix the criticisms that the reviews still had if the numbers were all perfect? That's my problem. That's my worry. That's why I think it could be a problem, you know? Like, because I don't know if it's still a case, but at least previously, right? Like, dev teams got an extra bonus for, like, different Metacritic average numbers and so on, right? So I don't know how much the numbers actually mean stuff to them. And do they fix problems that do not improve the numbers of the Metacritic stuff and review scores and so on? So, if Resi 4 Remake is all 10s all the time, but we all hate the breaking knife, will they ever fix the breaking knife if no one drops their score because of it. So do they get the criticism, and do they take it in their hearts to actually improve the next game to no longer have a breakable knife? Like, that's where I go. That's where I go. I don't care about being informed with numbers. I honestly don't care. Not even a bit. Where my worry and canaries in the coal mines and so on come from is that when the system no longer informs the devs, that's the problem. If they no longer get the constructive criticism, and maybe if they don't see the criticism from under a score of 10 out of 10, then they no longer fix the problems in the games. And that's, honestly, especially Resident Evil is a big worry for me, because Resident Evil has had a lot of good and bad ideas, and the bad ideas needed to be punched out of them. Like, Resident Evil 6 is quite bad. And, you know, they fixed that game because it reviewed like ass. Or Resident Evil 7 happened because Resident Evil 6 reviewed like ass, right? If Resident Evil 6 would have been 9 out of 10 across the board, but they mentioned the problems as they are, would Resident Evil 7 have happened? I don't think it would have. Not in the sense of, like, let's do something different and new and interesting, you know? And I worry that they don't fix the knife, and so on. Especially my personal bugbear, I don't think they will fix the walking. If it's all tens and just no one actually shines, like, if people don't shine light on this stuff, because the walking in Village was already ass. Like, I don't, like... If players were not bothered by how the walking felt in Resident Evil Village, I don't know, like, if I live on the same planet. We might live in different realities, and we're connected by the, like, internet. But yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I don't really want to review bombing either. Like, I get, like, that's one of the reasons why review bombing happens. But obviously that's not the, like, solution I would want. I want from the beginning to have a review environment where the devs actually get constructive criticism from the outlets in terms of their text, but also in terms of their number. That's what the number means to me. Like, this is what I often get, like, hung up on with people who, like, listen to my gripes with, like, this is too high of a number, this 10 is undeserved, this is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Like, because they think it's like an old instinct of a fanboy who doesn't like a number, and I want a different number, and I want an 8, and if it's not an 8, then that's just wrong, and me and my number. But I want the number to reflect the game's quality back to the devs, so we get better games. I want all of us to get better games from those cool developers, so they improve on the flaws they have, so we get even better games. And that's a big part of also why FromSoft, I think, has stagnated, because they don't get any actual critique from outlets. It's like, yay, it's a FromSoft game! A sword goes shoopsh when you hit 10 out of 10. No notes. And they don't know what they need to fix. And Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, that's what I mean. That's why Elden Ring was so lackluster. And that's why the next Elden Ring will also be lackluster, because they still didn't get any critique for it, even when the game is kind of very average. And I feel like they could make such an awesome Source game, and they don't get the actual, like, feedback they need. Yeah, the scope is too huge. Yeah, and the scope made the world feel more lifeless because the scope is too big. Like, it saps the life out of the world. You know, the more focused, interconnected world scopes of Dark Souls 1 and 3, for example, they make the worlds feel more alive even as they are dead. As much sense as that makes, but yeah. Yeah, but indeed, like, if one would, like, abstain a score and just give text, it goes back to the problem of the dev would probably not read it, because the number is how it enters the system of the environment of the reviews to be seen, if you will, you know, including by the devs. I liked their butter, but there was too much bread. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, for sure. Very, very good. Alive in a rotting, undead sort of way. I mean, yeah, but that is true. Interesting TNT that doesn't make a single tiny bit of damage to a building. It's quite something. Familiar with Lord of the Rings, I see, yeah. True story. Believe it or not, I actually, this is gonna make me sound crazy, I know. But, when I played Borderlands 1 for the first time, when it was, like, pretty new, like, go back in the Wayback Machine, right? When Borderlands 1 and Rage both came out basically at the same-ish time, you know? And they're kind of similar games. They're like desert world, third-person driving mechanics, but first-person shooting, you know, and sort of that's sort of thing, you know? And Rage was id Software and Borderlands was Gearbox. And just Borderlands had like more quests and more guns and so on. I honestly then I liked Rage more. I really did. Because of the too much bread and not enough butter thing. Because I felt it constantly did the exact same thing Borderlands over and over and over and over and over for like 50 hours. And I got bored with it. Whereas Rage was like there was less stuff and it was like sort of more focused. Just shoot things, but it's more polished in the shooting and the enemy behavior and so on. But it didn't outstay its welcome. It had enough side quests to be interesting, but it stopped before it was, you know, boring. Ah! It is a man!
Little rough, don't you think?
Ah.
You're not like them?
No. You?
No.
Okay, I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Got gum.
Perfect. The big cheese.
What?
Action! End of chapter 1-1. Timber timber dum dum dum. There we are. Probably do overwrite that one. Slow motion. Exactly. Hell yeah. All right, cool. Well, I guess this is a good spot to do a recording stop. So YouTube, like and subscribe. Yes, it's I see. This is a speed run. We're blazing through the game. I play slow. I chill and I chat a lot. I'm sorry.